Well, hello, friends. How are you doing? I hope it's a good day. Did you ever think about being a prince or a princess? Or what it would be like if you were a king or a queen? I probably wouldn't be a good prince or a good king. I think there'd be like too much pressure. You'd be just too famous, and I'm not sure if I would want that. But what if you were a prince? Do you think you would enjoy it? Now, in the news today, sometimes you may hear about Prince Harry and Meghan. And Prince Harry was a prince in England. And when he got married to Meghan not too long ago, his life changed. And so the news is that Prince Harry left the royal family and moved to North America. He gave up being a prince. So, what if somebody asked you to give up being a prince or a princess because someone needed help? And the only way to help them was to not be a prince anymore. Would you give it up to help someone else? Think about that. So if you're watching these videos in order, you know that we are talking about faith. And we are using Hebrews chapter 11 as the source for the stories of people who had faith in the Bible. And Hebrews chapter 11 verse 1 says that faith is being sure of what we hope for. It is being sure of what we do not see. I like to say that faith is believing that what God says he will do will happen. And faith is believing that God made the earth. Even if we weren't there to see it happen, we live with the results of it. And faith is believing that there is orange soda in this can, even if we can't see it. So we believe, we trust God. That is faith. In Hebrews chapter 11, verse 24, the story of Moses continues. Yesterday we talked about Moses, and so we're going to continue talking about Moses for the next couple of videos because there's a lot of verses in Hebrews 11 about Moses. This section of verses says this: Moses had faith, so he refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter. That happened after he had grown up. He chose to be treated badly together with the people of God. He chose not to enjoy sin's pleasures, for they only last for a short time. Moses suffered shame because of Christ. He thought it had great value. Moses considered it better than the riches of Egypt. He was looking ahead to his reward. Because of his faith, Moses left Egypt. It wasn't because he was afraid of the king's anger. He didn't let anything stop him. That's because he saw the God who can't be seen. Moses had faith in the God that he could not see, but that he trusted. So if you remember in the book of Exodus, we read the story of Moses. Remember the baby in the basket who was floating down the river and the Pharaoh's daughter found him? So Pharaoh was raised in the king's house, or Moses was raised in the king's house, in Pharaoh's house by the princess, the daughter of the Pharaoh. But when Moses got older, he learned that his family, his people, the Hebrews, were being mistreated by the Egyptians, and it changed how he thought of the Egyptians. So Moses made some decisions that made the Pharaoh very angry with Moses. Moses, the prince, had to give up being a prince, and he left Egypt. He was no longer a prince. But God had other plans for Moses. God was helping Moses to understand what it meant to think of others and to help other people. Remember what I asked you in the beginning? Would you give up being a prince or a princess or a king or a queen if it meant you had to do that to help other people? Wow. Moses gave up a lot, but he trusted God's plan for him, just like Jesus did. In Philippians 2, it talks about how Jesus gave up a lot to come to earth. Philippians 2, verse 6, in his very nature, Jesus was God. He was the king. Jesus was equal with God. But Jesus did not take advantage of that fact. Instead, he made himself nothing. He did this by taking on the nature of a servant. He was made just like human beings, and he appeared as a man. He was humble, and he obeyed God completely. He did this even though it led to his death. Even worse, he died on the cross. But we must remember that Jesus did this for us. He gave up being the King of heaven. He gave up being God's Son in heaven to come to earth to die for us. And now he is back again, being God's Son, being the King of heaven. You know, trusting God can change our lives. It can. I hope that I can be faithful like Moses to help other people, even if it means my life might change. If I have to give up a title or something, it might have to give up being Prince Milt, even though I'm not Prince Milt. But if I would be asked to give up being Prince Milt, I would put this aside, hopefully to help you and to help others, because I want to have faith in God that he is in control of my life and in your life, even during times of change. So be faithful with me. Trust God for his care, for his love in your life, knowing that he has the best for you. Let's be people of faith, just like Moses. I wish you a great day and a day filled with peace.